25 facts about dinosaurs that'll blow your mind. Dinosaurs have become some of the most out there animals ever to have lived on this planet. While it's fun to imagine a world where dinosaurs and humans are alive during the same period, it's probably not the best idea. We've all seen how it goes in Jurassic Park. The next best thing is to learn all we can about these ancient reptiles and sit back and let our imagination run wild. We've decided to give you a helping hand and have researched and written the best 25 dinosaur facts that you can imagine. Dinosaurs have been around for more than 230 million years. About 250 million years ago, most life on Earth went extinct, and within the next 10 million years or so, dinosaurs began to evolve. The exact timing of when dinosaurs first entered the scene is up for question, but we know for sure that it was between 230 to 245 million years ago. Dinosaurs lived during the Mesozoic era. The Mesozoic era roughly ran from 245 to 66 million years ago and is generally divided into three time periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. Dinosaurs first evolved during the Triassic period, increased in number and variety in the Jurassic period, evolved even further during the Cretaceous period, and then, well, pretty much just died off really. They evolved from reptiles the size of house cats. From around 244 to 242 million years ago, small yet agile reptiles known as dinosauromorphs rapidly increased and spread across the world. While they were far too small to come even close to the top of the food chain, they were speedy enough to escape predators for long enough to evolve into dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are still alive and with us today. Don't go running and screaming for help, though, unless you happen to be deathly afraid of chickens. In fact, all birds are descendants of dinosaurs, even the humble hummingbird. All the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct, but the avian dinosaurs evolved over the millennia into birds. Pterodactyls are not actually dinosaurs. Pterodactyls, along with all other winged dinosaur-like reptiles, belong not to the dinosaur family but are classified as pterosaurs. While pterosaurs are indeed related to dinosaurs, the connection is quite distant, splitting off from the archosaurs. Dinosaurs are split into two main categories. To put it simply, either a dinosaur is a saurischian, Greek for lizard-hipped, or they're an ornithischian, Greek for bird-hipped. Funnily enough, the lizard-hipped dinosaurs are more commonly related to modern-day birds, while the bird-hipped dinosaurs all went extinct. The first dinosaur was named before we even knew dinosaurs existed. In 1815, William Buckland, a geology professor from Oxford University, came across the skeleton of an animal unlike any previously recorded. Deciding that it was some long-extinct form of reptile, he named it Megalosaurus, Greek for great lizard. Dinosaurs were only classified in 1842. Just 7 years after Buckland discovered the Megalosaurus, a geologist and his wife came upon a new iguana-like skeleton in Sussex, England, which they named Iguanodon. More fossils started turning up, so Sir Richard Owen, who later founded London's Natural History Museum, classified the fossils as belonging to the Dinosauria family, Greek for terrible lizards. Dinosaurs weren't named as such because they inspired terror. When Sir Richard Owen came up with the name for dinosaurs, he meant the word terrible in a different sense. He described them as being fearfully great, as in far larger in size than any previously known reptiles. Maybe if the first fossil he came across were that of a T-Rex, he would have meant it in more of a literal sense. When the Iguanodon was first reconstructed, its thumb was placed on top of its nose. It wasn't until 40 years later, in 1878, when more Iguanodon skeletons were unearthed, that we realized the long, spiky thumb was not like a rhino's horn but an odd thumb-like digit. To this day, paleontologists still haven't come up with a good reason why iguanodons developed such long spiky thumbs, although it may have been for self-defense. The Megalosaurus was so popular in the 19th century that Charles Dickens included it in one of his novels. In the opening lines of Charles Dickens's Bleak House, the famous British author imagines what it would be like to come across a Megalosaurus waddling through the streets of London. Amazingly enough, considering the size and likely ferocity of the Megalosaurus, Dickens didn't paint the Megalosaurus in a fearsome light, describing it instead as an elephantine lizard. You can tell the difference between a dinosaur fossil and a stone by licking it. While this doesn't sound like the most legitimate approach, paleontologists may find themselves doing this on a daily basis. If you lick a suspected fossil, it will stick ever so slightly to your tongue because fossils are more porous than stones. More than 900 different dinosaurs roamed Earth. From this point onward, when we say dinosaur, assume we're talking about non-avian dinosaurs, as there are also plenty of birds out there today still. The 900 or so dinosaurs we're talking about here are those which have been deemed valid, as in there are enough fossilized remains to assure us that they are genuine dinosaur species. There are actually plenty more potential species, many already with names, that are non-valid due to a lack of solid evidence. Dinosaurs lived on all of Earth's continents. When dinosaurs first came onto the scene in the Triassic period, some 230 million years ago, the Earth's continents were clustered together into one giant supercontinent called Pangaea. Over the following 165 million years that dinosaurs roamed the Earth, Pangaea slowly drifted apart, separating many dinosaur species from each other. The largest dinosaurs were the Titanosaurs. The Titanosaurs were a subspecies of sauropods, herbivorous four-legged leviathans with long necks and small heads. They stomped around quite late in the dinosaur age, from about 145 to 66 million years ago. It's quite debatable which of them is the largest due to poorly preserved fossils, but the Argentinosaurus is the best bet, measuring in at 99 to 110 tons, 90 to 100 tons. The smallest sauropod was only slightly heavier than a bull. The Europasaurus was a pretty remarkable sauropod. It appeared like one in all respects, but never grew to anything like the monumental sizes of its cousins. While its 19 foot 8, 6 meters, length is still quite long, it's nothing like its football pitch-sized relatives. Gallimimuses had beaks instead of teeth. This odd-looking theropod once roamed around during the late Cretaceous period in what is now Mongolia. Although its name translates to chicken mimic, it actually more closely resembled a giant ostrich with arms. Most of the world's dinosaur fossils are found in 3 places. The high-altitude badlands of China, Argentina, and North America hold some of the largest amounts of fossils, or at least easily accessible ones anyway. The reality is that much of the world is covered in fossils, but they're easily unearthed in desert-like environments due to the lack of vegetation. Most fossilized dinosaur bones aren't actually bones anymore. The fossilization process most commonly happens when something gets trapped between layers of sediment or sand and remains there for millions of years. These remains then get surrounded by a layer of water, which replaces the original organic material with various minerals, creating a rock-like copy. Some dinosaurs were covered in feathers. Until the 1990s, it was believed that all dinosaurs were covered in large scales, much like today's reptiles. Since then, more evidence emerged that the group of dinosaurs, known as theropods, was covered in feathers. Theropods include velociraptors, Tyrannosaurus rexes, and the ancestors of today's birds. The smartest dinosaurs were all carnivores. Specifically, the predatory theropods were the ones to watch out for in prehistoric times. At the lower end of this group, the infamous T-Rex had a significantly larger brain than the herbivorous Stegosaurus. The smartest of all were the small, agile theropods like the velociraptor or the tridentids, which had similar brains to today's flightless birds. Dinosaurs didn't all go extinct at the same time either. The asteroid which crashed into Earth didn't wipe out all the dinosaurs at once. Instead, it likely triggered a chain reaction of events that completely changed the face of the planet. This, of course, didn't happen overnight, but over the following few hundred or even thousands of years, slowly killing off all but the avian dinosaurs. Corythosauruses used their crests to make loud, trombone-like sounds. Their crests were hollow in many parts and were directly connected to their nasal passages. When the Corythosaurus exhaled, the noise they produced would have been quite loud but also low frequency. The largest carnivorous dinosaur was the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus, Greek for spine lizard, was not only the largest meat-eating dinosaur but had huge spines sticking out of its back which formed a kind of sail. The largest Spinosaurus fossil indicates that they could grow up to 18 m long and weigh up to 23 tons, 20,870 kilograms. The Quetzalcoatlus Northropi had the largest wingspan out of any known pterosaurs. Can you imagine looking into the sky and seeing a dinosaur-like creature the size of a small plane soaring overhead? The Quetzalcoatlus Northropi, named after the Mesoamerican god, lived in the late Cretaceous period and had a mind-bending 23 to 43 foot, 7 to 13 m wingspan. Thank you for watching.